Welcome everyone. Today we are going to discuss about collision resolution techniques. Okay, first let's review previous class. Okay, in previous class we discussed about the hashing. So in hashing, it is a hash table. This hash table contains a keys and data. Each and every data has one key. If I want to access a data, I need to access through the key. You know it from the previous class. So if I want to create this hash table or hashing technique, I need two processes. I need two things. The first one is hash table, which holds the data like this. It has a key and data. Now each and every data has a key. Am I right? But that key, how I am going to allocate? By using the hash functions. By using hash functions. So hash functions will produce a hash key for each and every data. According to that key, I will store the data into a hash table. So the complete process, generation of a hash key by using a hash function and inserting a value in a hash table is completely called as hashing. Already you know about that. So these hash functions are used for generating a key. So we already have some methods for generating a key. So those methods are division method, mid square method, multiplication method and folding method. These four already we have discussed thoroughly and completely in the previous video. Now let's review a little bit. So what is division method? In division method, whatever the key or data I am going to insert in the hash table, that will be divided by the 10. Then the remainder I will consider it as a key. In mid square method, the data or key value will be squared. So I will get some data. For suppose if I take 12, so 12 square means 144. Am I right? 12 square means 144. So in 144, I will take a middle value, that is a 4. That is 4. So 4 is the key for 12th data. Am I right? So in mid square method, whatever the data or key value I am going to insert, that will be squared, and that from that result I will take a middle part as a key. So in multiplicative method, it is a very difficult method compared to these four. In multiplicative method, I will use 5 steps. What are the steps? First, I will take a random number, then I will multiply the key value with that random number, then I will get the some value. In that value, I will take a factorial value. From with that one, I will again multiply with the 100, the size of the hash table. From that result, I will get a key value. Am I right? So these are the 5 steps I need to follow if I want to use a multiplicative method. In folding method, so whatever the key value or data I have got, I will divide that key value in particular or in different parts. So if I have 124, I can divide like 1 plus 2 or 1 comma 2 comma 4. I can divide like 3 digits or 3 parts, or I can divide as a 2 parts also. So 124 means 12 comma 4. I can divide like that also. So from the divisions, I will sum all the divisions. So I will get some result. From that result, I will get a key. So these are the four hashing methods which can generate a hash key. So in detail, I already discussed in the previous video. You can check there. Okay. Now, so from that videos, I have one problem. So what is that problem? Let's see. Now I am taking a division method. So what is division method? Whatever the value I am going to insert, that will be divided by 10. So already I have a hash table with two values. So I have 11 and 95. 11 is inserted at key value 1, 95 is inserted at a key value 5. Now I want to insert a 15. So as you know, it is a division method. I have to divide it by 10. If I divide it by 10, what is the remainder? 5. So this 15 I have to insert at 5. But let's check the hash table. In hash table at 5 I already have a 95 data. So can I insert 15 at a 5? No. Why? Because I already have a data. So if this type of problems occurs, then the collision will be occurred. So, this type of problem is also called as a collision. So, collision is nothing but, so what is collision? If I want to insert a more than one value in the hash table at the same key, then the collision will be occurs. So, in hash table I can store a single value for each and every key value. Am I right? I can store only single value. Then how to reduce these collisions? So, simply I can use a good hash function. So, if I use a good hash function, then I can reduce a collisions. It is one of the theory. So, I have a collisions. Collisions means if I insert a multiple, if I want to insert a multiple values for the same key, then collision will be occurs. Why? Because for one key I can insert only one data. So, for that purpose, for these reasons, if I want to eliminate those collisions, first I want to eliminate those collisions. How can I eliminate? The first process, if I want to eliminate a collisions, the first process is using a good hash function. Okay. Let us discuss what is the good hash function. Now, what is good hash function? It is simple to compute. The first characteristics of a good hash function is should be simple to compute, like a division method. So, in division method, what we are doing? Simply we are dividing with 10. That's it. It is very simple. Or it is the folding method. In folding method also, we are just dividing the whatever the key we have given, we are dividing into multiple parts, and we are adding, we are getting the key. So, it should be simple. But unlike multiplicative method, in multiplicative method what I have to do? I have to take one random number, I have to multiply with the key. Next I have to take a factorial, from with that factorial I have to multiply with the size of the hash, which is so much process. Am I right? So, the characteristics, the first characteristic of a good hash function is it should simple to compute. So, that means is multiplicative method, is it a hash function or not? Is a hash method or not? Yes, it is a hash method. It is a hash key generation method. It is a key generation method, but it is not very much good for hash function. Okay. Now, the second characteristic is the number of collisions should be less. Collisions should be less. The best preferable, no collisions. The number of collisions should be less means, see, as we see in the previous slide, if I want to insert 95 and 15 in the hash table, the remainder is coming as a 5, so collision is occurs. Let us imagine if I want to insert 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. So, whatever the 5 ending, that means all the remainders are 5 only. If I want to insert all these numbers, then what will happen? The collisions will be more. Am I right? The collisions will be more. So, number of, if I want to consider it as a good hash function, the number of collisions should be less. The most preferable thing, no collisions. And the third characteristic is it has to distribute the keys or the data uniformly. Am I right? So, it should not follow some sequence, like the first data should be stored at first, then the second data should be stored at third, the third data should be stored at 5. That means, so whatever the data it is coming, first I am inserting at the odd numbers. So, like that it should not follow. It should distribute the key values informally. Am I right? The next one, the final characteristics of a good hash function is it should depend upon the result of hash function, complete result of hash function. Let us consider the square method, mid square method. In mid square method, what we are doing? For result we are getting the result we are getting by squaring the key value. Am I right? So, for suppose if I have a key as 12, my result is 144, but I am not taking 144 as a hash key. What I am taking? I am taking a mid part. Am I right? So, that process is also not good for a hash function. So, if I want to consider a function, key generation function, as a good hash function. That means it must take the complete result as a key value. It must take complete result as a key value. So, these are the characteristics of good hash functions. So, once again let us repeat, what are the hash function good hash function characteristics? It should simple to compute, number of collisions should be less, it should distribute the key values uniformly, and the hash function must take complete result as a key, not the part of the result. So, these are the characteristics of good function. See, we discussed about good hash function, and why we discussed about good hash function. So, in general hash functions we are getting some collisions. So, to avoid collisions we have to use a good hash function. So, see the characteristics, you already seen the characteristics of good hash function. See, let us imagine how to define that function. It is very difficult. So, to create a good hash function, it is very difficult. If you prepare a hash function very best, or up to your mark, up to the mark of the best, still you will get some collisions, still you will get some collision. Whatever the good hash function you will take, the collisions will occur. But then how to reduce these collisions or how to handle these collisions? We have a particular method to solve those type of collisions. So, the technique is called as collision resolution technique. So, if I have a collisions in my hash function, I have to handle those collisions. Am I right? I have to handle those collisions. That handling is called as collision resolution technique. Already in the previous slide we discussed the handling of collisions is done by the good hash function. Am I right? But the good hash function producing a good hash function is very difficult. Even though if you produce a good hash function, in maybe in some point of either one chance, it will produce a collisions. It will produce collisions. So, for that purpose we are using a special technique. That technique is called as collision resolution techniques. Okay. Now, what is collision resolution technique? If hash function produces any collisions, I have to handle those collisions. So, that handling method is called as collision resolution techniques. So, I have two resolution techniques. The best techniques are, one thing is chaining, the second one is open addressing. These two are the, up to now these two are the best collision resolution techniques. One is chaining and second one is open addressing. Now, in this class we are going to discuss about a chaining. So, what is chaining? So, the name itself saying the chaining, that means, so is the nodes or values one after another. Am I right? If you consider any chain, so one node or one part will be linked with the another part, that is chaining. Am I right? So, that is the main process here also we are using. But how we are linking one node to another node or one data to another node? You have a one data type like this. What is the data type? What is the data structure? That is called linked list. Already we discussed it in the unit 1. Am I right? In linked list, what will happen? Whatever the data we are inserting, whatever the data we are storing, that data will be linked one with the another. Am I right? So, that linked list process will be used in this chaining method. Let us see how it is using. Now, see, it is my hash table. So, in generally what I will do, here I will store the data. Instead of storing the data directly, I am using a address of a linked list. So, if I want to insert a data here or here, so the data I will create as a nodes. You know, from the linked list, each and every node will be linked with the address. Am I right? So, each and every node contains two fields. The one field is data, the second field is address. The first field holds the key, then second field holds the next key address, next key address. Now, at the one, the key 0 having two values, So, this address means the head value of the linked list. So, 0th linked list first element head value will be stored here. It is representing the first element. Now this is the first element or first key. Now this is it represents the next element, next key. So that is the 0th second element. So 1 represents only 1. Why? Because here we have a key and it is representing null. That means there is no next key or next data. In 3 similarly at 3 representing 3 values. Am I right? So first one representing the second value, second one representing the third value, third one representing null means so there is no next element. So here the 6th address field contains only one value. So it holds the head of the 6th key, 6th linked list. So that linked list head value will be stored here. It is the head and one only element. Why? Because it representing null. So there is no next element in the 6th. So it will be stored like this. If I have a multiple data representing to the same key, then I can handle like this. Am I right? Okay. Let us see with the example. So already we have seen this one in division method. If I have already 11 and 95 in a hash table, I can now insert 15. Why? Because I faced a collision. If this happens, how can I handle by using chaining? Let us see. See, as you remember, now 11 must be inserted at 1, 95 inserted at 5 and 15 also must insert at 5. Okay? 1 and 5 only we are using. Now the hash table, see all the remaining addresses I put as null. At 1 and 5 I am using a address as. Now at 1 I have only 11, so 11 address will be stored here and 11 is representing nothing. Why? Because there is no next data. Now here at first we have stored 95. So 95 address is stored here and 95 representing to the some other thing, the 15. Why? The recently I have to insert 15. So 15 is representing to 95 is representing to 15. Next 15 is representing to null. That means there is no next element. So am I inserted the 3 values successfully? Yes, I have inserted. Okay. Now I have inserted 3 values. This is the diagram and this is the process or structure. Now I will insert these 3 values one by one. Let us see how it will happen. So before going to insert a value into the hash table, first I need to find a key. Am I right? So first to find a key, I need a hash function. I am taking a division method. So my first hash function is h percentile 10. Now I want to insert 11. So 11 by 10 means 1. So I have to insert 11 at 1. Now, so it is a chaining. If it is not a chaining, it is a normal method. Then simply here at this place I will insert 11. But I am using chaining. So first it must refer to the linked list. Linked list, what you will do? If I want to insert a new data in a linked list, first I have to create a node. Am I right? First I have to create a node. Now my data is 11. So with the given data I have to create a node. Now I created a node. So 11 is the new one. Am I right? So now first I have to create a node. That node has to refer to the 1. Now I am checking whether 1 contains any data or not. Is any data is available? No. So it is a null. So if it is null, then whatever the new node address will be stored here. Okay. Now again I want to insert 95, as you know the drill. So it will give the remainder 5. Now next what I have to do? So I have to create a new node with the given value. So given value is 95. So with the 95 I have created a node. Now it is representing the 5. Now I am checking the 5 representing null. So if it is null, that means the new node address directly I will put here, the new node address. So 5 is representing the new node address directly. Why? Because there is no next element. Up to now this is very easy. Am I right? It is very easy. So whatever the thing we are discussing here, the next one is the main thing here. Why? Because if I want to insert 15, here collision will happen. If collision happens, what to do? Now let us check. So So, the initial process for linked list, I have to create a node. Now, I created a node with the 15, created a node with 15. So, 15 must be inserted at 5. So, 5, okay, it is not null. So, if it is null, directly I will put a 15 address here, but it is representing to something. So, here I cannot insert a value. So, I have to check where to insert. As you know from the linked list, I have to check from the head element. Head elements represent here. So, simply you can consider it as a inserting a element at the end of the linked list. You can consider like this. If you know that process, it is very easy. Now, I have to check. So, first I will check the head value. Head is 95. Here it is representing to 95. So, 95 next element is null. So, that means there is no element. So, what to do? In this null, I have to store a 15 value. I have to store a 15 address. So, here, so 5th representing to 95, 95 is representing to 15. So, here I inserted a 2 values for the same key, alright, 2 values for the same key. This way I will insert a collision values for the same key by using a chaining method. I hope everyone understood this process. Now, what are the advantages of chaining? It is very simple to implement, am I right? So, just simply create a linked list, then you will do the process. So, it is very simple to implement. Then you can add at any time. There is no need to check whether the hash table is full or not, it is empty or not. You do not need to bother about those ones. If it is full also, you can add another element in a linked list. That is the main advantage in linked list, am I right? That is the main difference between arrays and linked list. Why we are using linked list? Linked list is unavailable, n number of elements you can insert, am I right? So, it is at any time you can insert a values. So, where we can use this chaining method? If I do not know the number of elements in a hash table, how many keys I have, how many keys I have to insert in a hash table. If I do not know that process, then simply I will use this process. Simply I will use chaining method. Because it is a linked list and number of elements you can insert. So, that is the main advantages in chaining. So, first one is simple to implement. I can insert a value at any time, does not bother about the size of the hash table, and when I can use, if I do not know the size of the keys exactly, then I will use this process. Then what are the disadvantages? The main disadvantage is, see, it requires a more space. Why? Because each and every value is storing in a linked list node, is storing as a linked list node. Linked list need to store the next element address also. So, for every data I need to store the address of the next element also. So, there I need a more space, am I right? So, more space is the main disadvantage. If I have a less space, I cannot use chaining, and the searching element is also very difficult. Well, if I have, like previously explained, if I want to insert 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, which will get the remainder as 5, I have to insert all the values in a linked list at the key value 5, at the key value 5. If I want to set some value, then I need to check complete data. If it is a long chain, the searching is very difficult, and sometimes the space will be wasted. Why? Because see, in the previous slide also I have created a table for 7 keys, 0 to 6, 7 keys, but I have used only 2 keys, then the remaining one all are wasted. So, sometimes it will be wasted. These are the main disadvantages of chaining. So, one thing is space, it requires more space. Searching may get difficult if the chain is very long, and the space also may waste if all the keys will not be used. Okay. So, that is about the chaining. Okay, let us conclude this session. So, in this session what we have discussed about collisions and a good hash function, what is hash function and what is good hash function. What is good hash function? It is simple to compute, less number of collisions, it should distribute the keys informally, am I right? So, that is a good hash function. And what is collision? If I want to insert a two elements or two keys at the same key, the collisions will happen. The collisions will be avoided by using a good hash function, but a good hash function also cannot produce a perfect result. So, for that purpose, collision resolution techniques I have to use. What are the collision resolution techniques? I have two. One is chaining, the second one is open addressing. Now, we discussed about chaining. In chaining, each and every key value stores a linked list. Now, in next class, we will discuss about one another the collision techniques, that is open addressing. Thank you.